Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angel Meadows Radio. I am Mama D, your host. My show is called A Conversation with Friends because I believe everyone is a friend we have yet to meet. This show is where you get to know new friends or get reacquainted with old friends. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Hey everyone, it's another Sunday night and a time for a conversation with friends. My guest this evening, and I'm hoping I pronounce it right, is Preeti Roy. Did I say it right? Can you hear me?
I hear you. Oh, I'm afraid I'm not able to hear you.
At all? Okay, can anybody in the chat room hear me? Or, wait a second. This is odd. Okay, just hang on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Phew. Okay, you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Preeti Roy. I'm a first-time author. For about the last year and a half, I've been working on a book called Adventures in Datingland. This is my book right here. It actually just released last Thursday. The book is it's a collection of comic stories, so it's in full color, and it's about 16 different stories, and they deal with different aspects of dating as a young professional woman. Some of it is based in real life, and some of it is greatly embellished. But the point of of all my stories, are that you should try to be your unique self and not follow the crowd. My sidekick in my stories is my little rescue puppy, Lucybear. She's a little 8-pound Pekingese, and she's based on my dog Lucy, who I got from an animal shelter when she was 3 years old, and she's been the best companion ever. And she's my little sidekick in these stories.
Oh, she's adorable. I got in the banner for the show. I put the picture of you with her, and I think she's adorable.
Sorry,
We're having issues today. Let's put this up. There we go. That is the picture of the book.
Yep, that's the cover.
Okay, so how did you come up with the idea for this book?
Can't hear you.
All right, Facebook. Oh, I'm gonna have a fit. Okay, hang on a second. No, what's that? Hang on, everybody. You know me and my computer. It's being a, you know what.
Well, now I can hear you.
Oh, cool. I have no idea what's going on there tonight because I didn't touch anything. Okay, so how did you come up with the idea of this book?
I like to write stories just for fun, for my own amusement, and I like the idea of dating just because I think when two people interact, and just the whole subject of dating is so filled with opportunities for funny situations, and it also shows a lot of societal and cultural values, and raises a lot of issues like ignorance, sexism, just cultural norms, and so I try to address some of these things, but in a funny way. And then I use some of my own experiences or experiences that I've heard from friends, and I just embellish them and make them into a funny story. And then when I showed these stories to my friends, they thought they were really funny. So then I worked on writing them more and developing them more. Initially, I had written it almost like a screenplay, but then I realized that Lucy was a really important part of my story, and so to put her into the story, so that she can talk and say the things that that I think, but I can't really say out loud. I made it into a cartoon, and so in that way, she's almost like my inner voice or my subconscious, because she says a lot of the things that I would like to say, but I can't really say and still be polite.
Yeah, I think she's adorable. If everybody wants to go to your website, it's preetiroy.com. you can get a little sampling of her. If you don't order the book right away, just get a little sampling of her work. It's a learning experience. It's funny because in some of the stuff, it's like what people consider as stereotypes of an Indian
The
person.
only word I was able to understand was stereotypes, but
Shoot.
definitely this book is aimed about the dangers of stereotyping, and that's why I actually created this book called The Chai Corner. And the main point of the Chai Corner is that individuals can't really speak for a group. Individuals that represent only themselves, and to base your entire judgment of a group of people on an individual, or to assume that an individual acts a certain way because of certain ethnic or cultural characteristics, is really service. And so that's why I created the section of my book called The Chai Corner. I had initially just planned on writing this book as a collection of stories about dating, but then when I was done with the stories, I just really felt like something was missing from my book. And I think that I created that section so that there could be some cultural and some background to it. So there would be some context to it. And so that's the main reason that I put that section in the book. And so I just wanted to raise some points that people who are not familiar or who are not minorities may not have thought of. And then also the people who are minorities, they could read this and then they could recognize these situations and they could identify it and then they could feel heard and represented.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Hopefully it stays. I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't do a whole bunch
good.
except for changing the headset. Oh gosh. Okay. How much? Okay. The role that does Lucy play in your book? Does she play as much in your life as she does in the book?
She does. She's just so funny. Ever since I've gotten her, we've been really inseparable. And she kind of adapted into my life, and I've definitely adapted into having her. I've actually never owned a pet by myself before. Um, as you can see from the story in my book, where I describe how I got her from the animal shelter. She was almost an impulse purchase. We went into an animal shelter. I was with my sister and we used to always go to this animal shelter that was near her apartment. And we would play with the dogs and then, just leave a donation and then leave. But then when we went in that time, I saw her off in a little cage on the side because she was actually really sick. And so, but they let us take her out and she was just so perfect. And so my sister
Oh,
said, well, we have to get her. And then I wanted to think about it, but then all these people, it was a very busy weekend. It was a holiday weekend. And all these
mm-hmm.
people were circling us, like waiting for us to put her back in her cage. And so
Aw.
then my sister said, no, we have to get her now or she'll be snatched up as soon as we put her back in her cage. And so
True.
so we just ended up getting her right then. And, that was the first time I've owned a pet by myself. And it's just been an amazing experience, and I really can't imagine my life without her now.
Well, I saw the picture of her in real life and the picture that you have her on the book, and you call her Lucybear. And we
Yes,
always give our pets an extra little nickname, but she does. She does look like a little bear.
she
So
does,
she's
and
go ahead.
she oscillates between thinking that she's a bear and a lion. She's always trying to guard things, and she's always trying to scare people away, and she wants everyone to know she's in charge.
Oh,
If she
most
walks by
definitely.
someone, yep, if she walks by someone when we're taking a walk, she'll give them a couple warning barks so that they know she's in charge. So
Oh,
she does
good.
have quite the personality.
Yeah, I think little dogs have that because most people think that they're, oh, look, they're so tiny and cute, but
Right.
I have a Shih Tzu, and I call him when people come to the door and he starts to bark. I say, watch out for my pit bull, and they look down and I said, well, he's a pit bull on the inside because I've also had pit bulls, and
Right.
my pit bull was this. Everybody would look at her and think, oh my God, it's a pit bull, and she thought she was a lap dog. So I mean, she would just sort of plop on people and just kind of like, okay, pet me. So I think most little dogs have this interior going, yes, I'm big.
Yeah, and it's great because she actually really likes to go places with me. So she has like, I have a couple purses that as soon as I start to put on my shoes, she'll just start running to my purse and try to get inside because she likes to go to the store with me and just kind of, she's really quiet. She just likes to look around and see everything. And then you'll just see her little eyes peeking out the top of my purse. And then she's great until someone gets too close to us. Then as soon as someone gets too close to us, she starts barking to warn them that they need to stay away.
It's like that. It's exactly, this is my person. Don't come too close. I got
Yes.
it. Gina in the chat room is my co-host on Thursday night show, and she has a Papillon, and they used to travel everywhere together. And she's the same way. You know,
Yes.
it's like all little dogs, I think, have this like, hello, I may be little in size, but I've got this huge. They've got this huge heart, and they've got this, like I said, an inner beast. And
Yes.
most people go, oh, look how cute, and then they bark and say, okay, fine. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
my dog doesn't bark enough when people, if we're driving somewhere, he will see somebody, will stop at a stoplight, and there'll be somebody waiting to cross the street. And he gets all excited like they should be coming to pet him. It's like, dude,
Oh.
they're walking. Go, shh. And he's like,
Yeah.
he's hysterical.
Yeah. I used to have my boyfriend used to have a dog like that, and she was the sweetest dog. But we always joked that if a burglar broke in, she would just, run up to them and roll over for them to pet her belly because she just loved people so much.
Yeah, no, Onyx gets pretty loud when they get in the house, but when they're outside, he's like, oh yeah, that's me, that's mine. No, he has. I don't think he's ever disliked anybody, but sometimes it takes him a little while to get used to a few people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my dog's definitely the opposite. You definitely, she when she first meets people, she's very wary, and then the more times she sees people, slowly she lets down her guard, and then obviously, I'll give people treats to give her. The more treats they give her, the faster they move up in her good graces, and
It's like,
and
here,
then
give her food.
yeah, and then also, she really responds to like if we go somewhere, like if her friend picks me up to go shopping and we take her, or like picks me up to go to the park, then she starts to associate that person with like going somewhere fun. So then she
Yeah,
gets excited when they come over.
exactly. And if they don't take her out to the park, it's like, hello, excuse me, we're
Yes.
here. We gotta go to the park. Yeah. Is she
Yeah.
as destructive as you portray in the book?
She's actually very purposefully destructive. So for example, she really likes to destroy tissues and dryer sheets. That's for some reason when she
Ooh,
sees those, she'll have to destroy them. But then in terms of other things like couches, cushions, shoes, she does not even touch them. And then she actually even knows the difference between her toys and then my niece's toys. Like when my
okay.
nieces babies, like when they were 2 or 3, they would have stuffed animals, and she would never try to play with their toys. And so she's very, like very protective of people, and so it's more like she's guarding. She definitely thinks she's a guard dog, so she has to guard people whenever, she stands at the edge of the bed or by the door, and just like if she hears a noise, she'll start barking. Her ears will perk up.
Uh-huh.
And vacuum cleaner. She has to protect us all from the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, those vacuum cleaners are mean. Trust me, I understand. In the chat room, we've got a conversation going on about our pets. Dave says he's got a, what is it? I know it's a kilo, 50-kilo lap dog. It's a
Oh yeah.
pit bull. No, sorry, a bulldog and Rottweiler. Oh yes, we had one of those. Not that breed, but I know the size. And Ashley says we have a cat. One of our cats is a Chipotle, and we call it a snuggle slut. And our kitty Pepper is a rescue and a ninja. Crawls away to hide when the doorbell rings. Yeah, my cat goes down to the basement to protect the basement, so nobody touches the basement. So I get that one. Yeah. Hello, ladies. Hi, Dave. How's it going? So, what did your friends, family, and friends think about you writing this book?
A lot of them thought I was pretty crazy to do it, and they didn't really take me seriously until I found a publisher. And because I work in the healthcare field usually, but I actually started. So what happened is I had a couple of different events happen. I was
Mhm.
living in the DC area, and I just was having some like not so happy with the way my career was going, and so actually that's when I started just writing these stories more for relaxation and just to
Mhm.
kind of develop that creative side of my mind, and just like as a hobby. And then I was living with my boyfriend at the time, Sean, and then he actually passed away suddenly in May of 2018. He had a brain aneurysm, and he passed away suddenly. And so it was really unexpected, and so it was a really kind of crazy time.
Yeah.
And then I just ended up moving back to Michigan to be closer to my family, and and then just kind of reevaluated what I want, where my life was going, what I wanted to do. And then he really loved these stories that I've been working on, and I'd already started to develop them in work with my artists to develop them into cartoons at that time. And we had been talking, the both of us, about making a book about it. And then after that happened, I just really wanted a distraction. I just really wanted to just kind of
Yeah.
do something creative and just as a distraction. And so I just started working on these stories full time. And I went around to about 100 different publishers, and I went to book agents as well, because to get into traditional publishing, a lot of times traditional publishers will only accept a manuscript from a book agent.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of book agents were interested in my work, but they said that it didn't really fit to a specific genre, because it's a little bit of a graphic novel, it's a little bit of dating and romance, and it's a little bit of women's contemporary fiction, and it doesn't really fit neatly into a niche. And that was the main feedback I got from from a couple of different people. And then I did find this publisher who was a local publisher in here in Ann Arbor, and they were actually looking to increase diversity and increase representation. And so they were intrigued by my idea, and so they agreed to finance my book, the development of my book. And then that's when I really started to get serious. And so
Yeah.
I already found my artist, Jamie. And the way I found her is actually, it's kind of one of those the stars were aligned kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
because I obviously have no experience. I have zero artistic talent. I can literally only do stick figures. And I looked on on a website, a freelancer website, and I just looked through. Everyone had just there's only space for people to put up like one drawing, like not even a portfolio, like one drawing. And so
Okay.
based on that one drawing, I asked if she could help me figure out what I wanted to do, because I didn't even know exactly what I wanted to do. I just said, well, like I have a bunch of stories, and I want to develop them into cartoons. And so she actually helped me figure out like the structure of it, and like she drew me a couple different ways until we could find something that worked. And then she drew Lucy, and then that's all that I knew. And then we just worked together to develop these stories. And then later on, as we're working together, I found out that she's also very liberal, like I am. She's also she's actually vegan, and I'm vegetarian, and she's very supportive of that lifestyle. And then she's also obsessed with her dog, and so we just had all of these things in common.
Yeah.
And then yeah, she's also like a young woman, kind of dealing with different issues like this. And so she's just by working together, she's it's almost like she can read my mind. I'll just say, okay, make me look a little bit tired, more tired there, but not sad. And then in this picture, make me look a little bit happy and also a little sarcastic. And she'll kind of know exactly what I'm talking about. And so it's really been really rewarding to work with her. And I'm just really impressed with her skill, because she's able to kind of put down on paper almost exactly the picture I have in my mind of how
Yeah.
I would look. And I think that's really unusual.
I think that's amazing. I had on the other show that I do on Thursday nights. There was an author, and she found her artist for the book covers and a few of the pictures inside, and she said the same thing when they kind of got together. Everything just sort of meshed. She would give her the book and say, "Okay, let's see what you do with it." And the pictures that she came out with are the ideas that she had in her head. So that's what it is. I think when an author finds the right person, you don't have to sit there and argue and fuss and like hash it out, because you kind of like jive together. It just sort of locks in together. So which is
Right.
really cool.
Yeah, and it makes things flow a lot easier. And
Yeah,
my stories wouldn't be nearly as great without the illustrations to show what I'm trying to say. And so
exactly.
I really like that.
So what is okay? So you're does your family get over the idea that they thought you were losing your marbles type of thing because you were going to write a book, and it's like, where did you know? Because it is a big leap when you go from, like you said, the medical field
Uh-huh.
and to writing a book. Did they ever kind of go? Did they have their aha moment at anything spectacular?
I think really not until they saw the book, and then they said, okay, well, this is a pretty cool book. And so, and then my friends also, some of my friends are really supportive, and then some just kind of thought it was a passing hobby. But for me, it's not just a hobby because I'm already planning my, like my next book, what I want to do next, and then what I want to do after that. And so I know that this is something I'm going to continue because now that I've kind of started exploring that creative part of myself, I just still,
Mm,
I would feel really, I would feel like something more missing if I weren't doing something creative like that. And
yeah.
so, I mean, I'm not entirely ruling out that I'm going to go back to the, doing the medical field. But right now, I'm focused on my book, and then I know that I'm still going to keep writing even after this one is finished.
Yeah, I think everybody needs a break from their chosen field. Sometimes we don't realize that we need it until it happens. Like I know a lot of people during this lockdown of shutdown of life, a lot of people have found that, creative side of them. I know I have. And
Oh,
you just sort of don't think it's gonna, it's like, I would just do it for myself. Like you were writing it, the stories, and it's like, well, then people would read it and it's like, yeah. So I think that's something that this time has given us is
yeah. What,
the sorry.
what the things have you been working on?
I'm doing painting, and
Oh,
I was never one, like I say, I can't draw a straight line with a T square. My stick figures are always kind of crooked. So I never thought, so I had followed, but I love art. I can see things in pictures, even if, abstract art. So I saw this thing that people were doing. It was called flow art, flow
okay.
painting, pour painting. And I said, I can't crooked lines go well with this. So, I give it a try. And I kind of got hooked on it. And it was just something that I did for myself. And then I said the first time somebody asked to buy one, I'm like, excuse me, are you serious? Okay. So I had to ask people, how do I, what do I go, because I'd be like, okay, $20. I have a hard time figuring out
On
prices
it.
for things. And it's like, because I'll see it as kind of like, it's okay, but somebody else will see it and go, oh my god, it's amazing. So it's like we are our own worst critics,
Sure.
but I think it's fun to find something to do. Like when you sit there and you're writing a story, you might come up with an idea and then everything sort of falls into place, and everything else sort of, does it all sort of fade away, the rest of, we'll say, regular life when you get into it, writing a story.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm definitely a night person. I've always been a night person, and so this is something I do kind of late at night, and it actually just works out perfectly with my schedule because there's not a lot of stuff you can do at like 2 in the morning because no one
No.
else is awake. You're at least not in your time zone, and you don't want to be loud, wake up other people in your house. But writing is something that that you can do, and it worked out perfectly because then I don't have other distractions, that I can just sit there and focus. And then I just have such a sense of accomplishment, like when I write something, when I'm able to word something exactly the way I want it, or when JB and I are able to draw a story and it comes out exactly like I had envisioned it. It's just
Yeah.
really an accomplishment.
I know it's, and I'm sure Lucy has the fun part of, plopping herself on your lap or somewhere near
Yeah.
you so that she can watch what you're doing and knows that, okay, when she has a second, she'll reach out and stroke me, and if not, there comes a paw going, hello, I'm here.
Yeah, she's not shy about asking for attention.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No,
and then I
it has
also like during this quarantine thing, like people are realizing that creative arts are really important. Without Netflix
yeah,
and TV, like people would kind of be going crazy because there's so much stress in the world, and you don't want to watch the news cycle 24/7, or you'll just become depressed. And so you
no,
need to kind of escape. It's something that
yeah,
makes you think about, different, maybe something that you haven't seen before. I think one really
exactly.
great thing is that, at least in the States, there's been a lot of interest now in experiences of Black people because of the Black Lives Matters movement. And so there's a renewed interest in films and TV that's produced by African Americans, and I think that's great because if you don't, a lot of people are not exposed to people outside of their
Nope.
culture basis.
No,
So
and some people don't realize the exposure that, like, everyone will sort of look at you and go, well, you're a brown person, so you must, relate to this thing. And here, hello, red hair, white face, and you have no idea. It's like, and people make assumptions, but a lot of people are opening their minds to, that there are possibilities. Like most of the people who know me know that I'm married to an African American man. They Canadian men couldn't handle me. I had to import one from the States, and and so everyone kind of, there was a discussion at one point going on Facebook, and somebody said something about something that was negative towards the African Americans, and I was like, I said, excuse me, are you serious? Do you know who you're talking to? Because my children's pictures are up on my Facebook page. I'm not shy about who I am, but I don't sit there and go, hi,
Yeah.
And my daughter came on and she goes, excuse me, do you know what woman you're talking to and who she is? And do your research before you. I was like, okay, calm down.
Right.
But a lot of people are not, just sort of made assumptions. And now this is the time that, people are getting to, like, open their minds to things. Like, hey, wait a minute,
Yeah.
And this, and like your story, especially on the Chai Center, you sort of put up there in a funny way the stereotypical thoughts of an Indian woman. It's like, oh, I love the one where she was on the bus and some guy, oh, you're from India. Oh, I know so and so, and they named somebody in India. Do you know? It's like, no, really, no. That's kind of,
there's a couple million of us in this country. I probably don't know.
Exactly. And like you say, people make assumptions, and it's like, look, Canadians have the same thing. Like, I'm from Canada, and most people go, oh, do you have a polar bear? Do you live in an igloo? Yo, please, I got some words for you, but they're not very nice. No. No, people.
And I really like, but just by if you can't, because not traveling is, especially now with all these restrictions, it's not always possible. But if you read a book written by a Canadian author, or if you read watch a movie made by someone from Australia, or like maybe someone in London who's from originally from Africa but lives in London, you're going to just get a different aspect. You're going to get a different viewpoint, and then you're going to learn a little bit more about the world.
Exactly. And in learning more about the world, you also learn more about yourself. Like, a lot of people go, oh, Facebook and these things. But I consider it traveling as I meet people on Facebook and like meeting you.
That's how we met.
It's like, exactly. It's like traveling the world, but you're doing it from your own home. Right. But you get to know different people. You get to know different cultures. And I was like, there's the Gina in the chat room. She's in Pennsylvania now, but she was originally from Massachusetts. Dave is from Australia. And you get to meet different people and get to learn that there's differences, but also realize how much similarities there are between people, no matter where you live. It's like, seriously.
I was telling someone that, like, back in the day, people used to have pen pals, and sometimes you can meet people on Facebook, and it's almost like having a pen pal, because you can send them messages through Messenger, and then you can see what's going on. Their lives, and so you can meet someone who like you and I live in different countries, but now we're talking.
Exactly. And it makes life more interesting if you only stick into the one thing, one group of people that you're never going to expand your mind. Like Gina says, you never stop learning, whether it's about people or cultures or who knows what it is. Like I said, I would never have thought to do painting. And it's like, I'm going to try what the heck and see what happens. Go to the dollar store, get some things, see what happens. And it's like, it's amazing. And I'm guessing for you was the same thing. You just sort of had these stories in your head and you said, I'm going to start writing them. And then once you put them down on paper, then maybe not right away, but go back and go, like you said, your friend said this would make a great book.
Yep. Yeah, and it's something that, really, I haven't really seen anything exactly like this, and that's also the great thing. Like, if if there isn't anything like this and you have an idea for it, why not make it yourself? And,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and yeah,
And I
it's like,
like the idea that the agents kept saying, "Well, we can't fit you into one genre." Excuse me,
mhm,
people don't have to fit into a box.
right. And
It works
how,
better not to.
right. Like how many books about, werewolves and vampires dating teenage girls do you need? Like, like we need,
Let's see, Twilight. Yeah. But
but
but that's the thing is people have to you expand your mind by reading different books, learning differently. So I think those agents are probably kicking themselves now. So you should send them a book. Go here. I'll sign you a copy. See, you were wrong.
yep. Yeah, why not try something different? People get tired of being kind of forced at the same stories all the time, the same kind of formulaic things.
Yeah,
And that's my thing. I get very bored very easily, and I hate things that are predictable, and I hate things that are formulaic. And so
yeah,
anything that's unpredictable, unexpected, just twists, like those are all things that I love.
yeah.
And I think that people are moving a little bit away from the formulaic thing, but there's still, a pretty big market um, for romance, for example. People want these kind of storylines with this kind of ending, and that's not something I wanted to do in my writing.
Yeah, no. I think what your book does is that I have to be honest with everybody. I don't have the book yet. I was lucky enough to see a few pieces of it, but the book's in the mail, so it's coming.
Yes, it
And
is.
I will share like a couple of pictures. If it's okay with you, I'll take pictures of the book
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
post them online. But it makes it, like you said, it's entertaining, but you
Yes.
also learn things. And I love the dog. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
at one point, one of the parts that I was reading was that you were going out somewhere, and she was like, "Well, I'll be ready for this guy when he comes back. I'm going to tear him up." And then, like, oh my God, you can just imagine the thoughts that go through. Like you said, these are things that you kind of wish you could say, but you can't. So your adorable alter ego, Lucybear, is like, "Oh yeah, I'll do. I can say it. Put it in my hands, huh? You know."
Yeah, and she really, yeah, it's just like, and once you meet her, everyone says, "Oh, initially it sounded kind of weird that she has she's trying to build nuclear bombs and tearing up teddy bears and practicing for when you bring friends home." But then after meeting her, they're like, "Yeah, actually, I could see that. That is
Yeah.
exactly what she's like."
Building nuclear bombs. I haven't seen that part yet. That'll be interesting when I get it.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah. And
do
then
you?
oh, and so I say a lot of people have asked me if the book is on Amazon, and it's not right now. I work with a local publisher named Knot and Gun. Or actually, they're not a publisher; they're a printer. I self-published myself, but so I worked with a printer, Big Knot and Gun, here in Ann Arbor, and they helped me do the formatting and things. The reason that my book isn't on Amazon is because Amazon has really devastated the independent bookstore market. What they do is they underprice their books, so they'll, like a hardback really can't cost like $14.99 because independent books can't sell it like that at that price for profit. But what Amazon does is they want you to come to their website, and then while you're there to buy the latest bestseller, maybe you'll buy some dog food and some toilet paper, and so in that way they make up for that cost. And so that's why, because I don't want to support that, and so that's why my print book is only available on my website. And then I'm actually going to be working. I'm going to be reformatting my book, the paperback edition. So this is the hardback right now. Only the hardback cover is the only print version that's available, and it's really nicely done by the printers. Like they're really a top quality printer, and they're women owned also. And then once I do the paperback, I'm going to be working with bookshop.org. And so
Okay.
bookshop.org is kind of the independent bookstores answer to Amazon. So it's a consortium of independent bookstores, and they all come together. And you can order any book that's available and that you could get on Amazon. And then you just order it from that website. And then whatever is the closest independent bookstore to you, they'll deliver your book through that bookstore. And so that way it supports the independent bookstores and, lets you be part of the community. And because, Amazon doesn't even pay taxes. Like they don't pay taxes to
Yeah.
the States. So they're not investing in local economies. They're not, they're not really investing in American people. And so by ordering through them, even if, you may have to pay a couple of dollars more for shipping because they probably can't afford to offer free shipping. But,
Yeah,
you'll really
no,
be supporting your local community instead of a giant no-name organization.
exactly. Now your website is preetiroy.com.
It's actually Preeti Bird, which is the name of my
Pretty
character.
bird, sorry.
So PREETYBYRD.com. And then the ebook is available in whatever format you usually buy it. So it's available on Kindle, it's available on iBooks, it's available on Kobo. The only platform it's not available on is Barnes and Nobles because they were having some issues uploading their books. But and then the ebook is also only $9.99. So if anyone has, can afford
Okay,
that.
bird will be BIRD.
What was it?
The bird, pretty
BY.
PREETYBYRD.
So two Y's. Yeah, two Y's are the vowels.
Okay, so she got it. Okay, let's just put this up here. Can you see the way it's written underneath?
Yeah,
Is that
that is.
perfect? There you go. So Gina, for anybody who's in the chat room, Gina has put it into the chat room. Thank you for being my assistant of the day.
Yeah, I don't know if like kids these days will remember. Like it's a reference to like Tweety Bird, the little yellow Looney Tunes.
Yes.
I know now kids have like newer cartoons, but that's like what my bird, or that's what my the name of my character is a reference to. So
That's right, Tweety Bird, Pretty Bird. There you go. Okay.
yeah.
I'm more of the Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, Wile E. Coyote. Yeah, you like the villains.
I like that little dude. You know. So do you see yourself going back to a 9 to 5?
I definitely am still interested in the healthcare field, but I think one thing that this COVID has shown us is that we have the best healthcare system in the world, and then we also have the worst healthcare system in the world.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that we've suffered so much as a country, besides like poor leadership, is also because we don't have, we're the only developed country in the entire world that doesn't offer health insurance to everyone. And that to me is really bizarre because people shouldn't have to worry about losing their house or not being able to afford food or not being able to go to the doctor if they get sick. To me, that seems like something that a first world country should be providing to their citizens. And so I am really, and then also our public health system is not very good because we don't have that kind of safety net. And so
Yeah.
I am also interested in reforming health policy and increasing access for people to get health care. And so I'm also looking into going back into healthcare in that way too.
Yeah.
And so,
Gina in the chat room says she doesn't have health insurance, but I know she has health insurance on her dog. Lacey has insurance.
Really?
Yes, and that's
Those vet bills can be very expensive.
oh yeah, right, Onyx. Yeah,
Yeah.
Onyx is snoring over there, but yeah, no. Sometimes we forget that it's basic. Like I mean, I'm in Canada and we get health care. It's a government thing. You can get extra help. Well, in Quebec, every province has its own little thing.
Right.
But in Quebec, we have health care. I have a card. Go to the hospital. Boom, it comes off. You can't get a private room that you have to pay extra for or have extra insurance for.
You can't get that here either.
But you can still, you can still go. It's not the great. I mean, it's good, but it's not the best thing. There's no perfect system.
Right.
Well,
There's no perfect system,
but at least it's something.
Considering how much of our GDP is spent on healthcare, we spend like more than twice as much as any other country, but yet our outcomes are worse than any other first country. And that's really something that we have to look at why that is. And like I live in Detroit, and I know that we're only an hour from Canada, from Windsor, and I think we're not allowed to cross over right now because our rates of COVID are so high compared to Canada. And I think these are things that we need to look at. Like, why is this happening? We're supposed to be a great country, and we can't take care of citizens.
It happens, unfortunately, that, for one reason or another, I keep saying the Americans won't let me back in because I keep stealing their men. Okay. Well, but it, I don't know. It's not an easy solution, but I think it's something that people have to sit down and think about and put it in. I'm sorry, but I mean, I normally don't talk politics on the show, so everybody who doesn't like it, but the only way that the country is going to run properly is to put a mom in charge.
Mhm,
An
mhm.
everyday mom who knows how to budget, get their food, and
Right.
and every country needs to have a mom in charge, at least for one term, whether it
Well,
be 4 years or whatever.
they say that the countries with women leaders, like New Zealand and some other countries, their responses were a little bit better because women tend to think about like basics first. So, like they're like, okay, well, health is a basic, so let's make sure everyone's healthy first, and then
Yeah,
worry about the economy later. Whereas for the priorities for men can be a little bit opposite. But an
yeah,
obvious support of that is that if people aren't healthy, and the economy is going to suffer, and so.
exactly.
And so, yeah, of course. I mean, this is a brand new thing, but that is changing. But I think people are starting to realize that this was not approached well.
Gina in the chat room. Yeah, I love that one. Women use both sides of our brains.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to go there. We have only one brain and we use all of it. So they have brain and nurture. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, let's get out of the politics again. um,
Back to dogs. Everyone likes
Back to
dogs.
dogs and books and no, I want to know what you do to recharge yourself. What is
Oh,
it that you do that just sort of like when you're stressed and you aside from writing,
uh-huh.
what it is that you do that you'll sit there and go, okay, this is what I need to do for myself.
Well, it's a little bit, it kind of goes along with writing, but not necessarily, which is that reading has always been my escape and my way of relaxation. So I try to read almost every night. It's like what I do before I go to sleep. And I just love reading. I find it so relaxing. And it just kind of takes you away from, all your everyday problems. And I tend to mostly read fiction. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. And, um, and I just have so many favorite authors and they write such beautiful stories, and I just get so engrossed in the stories. That's really relaxing for me. And then I also find physical activity to be very relaxing. So I like to go running. It's been way too cold here to go running recently, and it also gets dark at like 4 p.m.
4 o'clock. Uh-huh.
So that makes it a little harder, but when the weather cooperating, I love to go running. I've done a couple of 5Ks. I'm not very fast or very good, but like it's just it's almost like a form of meditation. And then I
Yeah.
also really like yoga. I am a certified yoga instructor, and I don't know if you saw the slide on my website about the difference between yoga here in the States and yoga in India. Um,
No.
but let me see if I can find it in my book. But like yoga in India is actually a little bit, it's more about meditation. It's not necessarily about like exercise and being thin and like, yoga
Thin.
pants.
I don't know about thin.
And so, like, I don't know if you can see this here, but
Okay, yes. Okay.
yeah, but like
Yeah,
this is
here in the States, they're all doing the downward facing dog and
right,
standing on
right,
your head type of thing or doing the
yeah.
tree. And in India, it's more of a meditation.
Right, and you don't need special equipment, and
No.
you don't even need a yoga mat. You can use a towel, and so I think that aspect of yoga has kind of been lost in the translation, and so I think
Yeah,
it's a physical exercise, but just the mindfulness of yoga and the meditation that goes along with it. I think is a really important aspect that's being missed, because
yeah,
most actually like Ashtanga yoga, which is what most yoga studios practice, is means 8 limbs of yoga, and the exercise is actually only one limb of that. So it's only one of the 8 things. The other things
yeah,
are like breathing, mindfulness, with uh, focusing on yourself, blocking out your senses from external stimuli, and things like that. And so a lot of that is missing in modern
yeah.
studios.
I think I've seen what I think is an interesting with is Tai Chi because
Oh
it's
yeah,
slow, it's methodical, and it to me that looks more meditation
it does.
than what I see is what we see as the standards of yoga. It's like I said, my daughter does it, you know,
Uh-huh.
and great for her. And but I mean, I look at it and go, I can't bend that way anymore.
You don't have to be flexible. It's just about doing what your body wants you to do. And, you don't have to achieve a certain pose, whatever, everyone's going to do a different pose differently. And there's no right
Yeah,
way. The right way to do a pose is the way that is comfortable for you.
exactly. Well, I'm doing my pose right now.
Oh,
Oh, that's because for me about a year and a half ago, I did the splits in a grocery store at
on
57.
purpose?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
Their freezer was leaking, and when I walk, I look this way. I don't look down, and then my legs kind of like, ooh, little party. And like I said, at 57 years old, it's not a good thing to do. So, but I did stretch, but it was getting back up that really was the hard part.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
not
I mean, no, it, I do not recommend it. I guess people go, oh, you shouldn't do this. I did them when I was a teenager and I was doing cheerleading. Yeah, that was back then. That was like I said, teenager. Now it's a little bit different. But no, but I agree. I think people need to find their thing that gets them to get out of their head. And I always say, like for me, meditation is important to me,
Mhm.
and I do sit in my quiet corner, and I don't do the lotus position because I can't lotus anymore. But people think that that's what you have to do is you have to sit there and do that lotus position and go home. It's not. There's different ways of doing it. Like you say, doing your running. That's a form of meditation. You just sort of come into yourself. And I hated saying it, but I do dishes, and that's where I go into because all I'm doing is focusing on the water and washing, and you're
Yeah.
not thinking about all the other things.
Yeah, cleaning can be very therapeutic, and then it's also very rewarding because then at the end you have a clean house.
Exactly. Well, I don't know about the cleaning the house. That's I get my daughter. She likes to do that. I get my daughter to come down. Honey, guess what? Want to come meditate in the basement there? But yeah, but people think that finding something to do that sort of like change their way of thinking, change the way they're viewing things, and it's not as difficult as that as it is. It's just like, crank up the music when you're alone in the house and dance and sing like nobody's watching, and even if they are, too
Yeah,
bad. It,
yeah,
it just gives you that freedom to recharge.
yeah, and for everyone it might be something different. Like my dad does a lot of gardening, and so it's great for us because then all summer we get fresh vegetables. But some people might find gardening really stressful because everything might die. So everyone just has something different.
Yeah. Okay, Gina's got 2 books to read for our next show on Thursday. She's the one who reads the books before she can read like nobody's business. This girl is crazy. And she says, no goat yoga. No, I have puppy yoga. I tried that
Oh,
once, trying to do yoga, and Onyx was like up on top of my back. I'm like, okay, you're not going to do this.
oh my God, Lucy loves it when I do yoga at home because she thinks I'm pretending to be a dog. So she starts jumping all over my yoga mat and
Oh my
she
gosh,
thinks
yeah.
she thinks I'm like trying to play with her. So.
Yeah. I saw that on, what was it? I think it was on TikTok or something. There was a person doing yoga on the TV with a dog,
Huh.
and somebody was videotaping their dog watching them, and it would do the movements.
Oh yeah.
I was like, for real? Like my dog would look at me and go, I don't think so. Unless I'm going to jump on your back, mom, and then you can go and do whatever you want to do. Just don't make me fall off, and I'm fine. But I think it was adorable. I thought that was cute.
Yeah. I love, oh, and also watching cute animal videos is a great stress relief too.
Yeah, yeah. Or what I call baby giggles. I can
Baby.
watch. I can be in the foulest of moods, and I will go to YouTube and just type in baby giggles, and you'll be like a 10-minute video of babies giggling, and it's like you can't not mood cannot improve fast enough for you. You laugh. It's just.
Yes. Yes.
And somebody said, "Oh, well, that's because you're a mom." No, because I'm a mom. My kids are all grown up. I'm really happy. Baby giggles. I'm a grandmother for the first time, and
Oh,
when my grandbaby laughs, because I haven't got to see her. Thank you, COVID, because of it. I haven't got to see her yet, but we FaceTime, and when she laughs, I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect. And when she beats up at her dad, because it's my son, it's like, oh yeah, go do it again. You know, it's it. There, there are so many things that can change the way our stress reacts.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
between
I think,
babies and animals,
yeah, or connecting with nature too, even just going for a walk outside, like seeing the trees, smelling the flowers. I think that, like, it's
wait till
actually,
winter's over.
yeah, and it's proven that just like being around like nature, out in nature, just like automatically lowers your blood pressure and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's true, but people have to find what they need to find, and whether
Yeah,
it's writing a book or painting or you know
yeah,
ghost hunting or whatever the case may be, it's
yeah.
genius.
Yes.
I'm going to get down to the States somewhere and possibly do an investigation with Gina. But for right now, like I said, they won't let me cross the border.
Oh, investigation for.
She does paranormal investigation.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
neat. Yeah,
and she's good at it, and she's ghost hunting.
yeah. I find those
I
shows
go. The
really.
shows are they are funny, and but you like they say it's a 1 hour show, and they may have done two weeks worth of work to get that, and
Right,
they just give you the highlights.
right.
It's what brings in the money and the ratings and all that stuff. But because there if you really want to watch a paranormal investigation, there are so many places that do their like because I kind of know a lot of them that will do an investigation live, and there are so many times that nothing is happening.
Right.
It's just the guys are talking, and they're
Yeah.
laughing and whatnot. But you know, for that
Most,
for that maybe 2 minute moment that something's happening, that's like they're super high.
I think most reality television is like that. You know, they'll just film
Yeah,
like days and days, and then they'll just try to film and edit it so that you just see the really dramatic moments, like when people are fighting and arguing, because
yeah,
that's, I guess, gets ratings.
yeah, exactly. And I don't worry about ratings. You don't like me? Yeah, that's life. If they don't like me, they'll like somebody else. And Gina says, we love talking to no one in the dark. Yes, see that? Yeah, but knowing me, the first entity that touches me will hear that I can scream really loud. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that is one thing I'm not a fan of is reality television because it's just
Yeah,
like all about making drama and trying to create drama and trying to elevate these petty things and make them seem important. And it's
yeah.
like it doesn't really matter who used whose tooth or no, I mean maybe not toothbrush, but it doesn't really matter like who ate the
Did you
last
use my
cookie,
brush? Yes, there's a long red here and there.
right? You know, it's just like it's just highlighting these like petty situations, and it's definitely to the detriment of our culture, I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if people watch it and they realize that it is entertainment and that's all it is, it's like watching a movie. It's entertainment. Yes, there might be, thanks, Gina. She says the newbies always get touched. I'm not going. If you realize if you're just watching it for the fun of it and don't think that it's like the holy grail of, the holy Bible of this is what you have to do, this is the way things go. Oh, no, you know,
Uh, yeah,
it's like,
the problem is then these people kind of become famous for not really doing anything. They just become famous for the sake of being famous, and
yeah, like there
it's
are
all
some good teams out there. I've watched. I think the Ghost Brothers. I think are
oh,
hysterical. But again, I've only seen one or two of their shows because up here again, I don't get it. I gotta sneak it with somebody else's TV. But they're funny, and I
uh-huh.
think that's one of the things is the teams that I know they're serious when they need to be serious, but they have a good time. They laugh and they crack jokes and all kinds of stupid, like
Right.
especially the guys that do all kind of boy things. It's like yeah, but that brings up the energy, so that'll bring more vibrations from the other side, and so that's a whole other show altogether. So
I've heard that New Orleans is pretty big for that. Is that true?
I think the last we had somebody on our show a while back that New Orleans is one of the most active.
Okay.
Like I said, Gina would be better at saying that, but pretty much going to say yeah. Yes, there will be yes.
Yeah, I've been to New Orleans a few times, and one of my stories actually takes place in New Orleans.
Ooh, I
Those,
like that.
yeah, whole different side of that side of New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans. I think New Orleans is the one that people know the most about.
Mhm.
When they sing. But then there's different places. Like I know Gina and a lot of her friends go to Gettysburg because
Okay.
there were the wars during Gettysburg during the
Yeah.
Civil War. So that's when. So every place has their own different kind of spirits and for different reasons. But yeah, I think New Orleans is probably the most because people go, oh, voodoo,
Yes.
and they think it's negative. And again, it's something. It depends on your internet, what your intentions are. If you're going to be intentions are negative, then it's going to be a negative. If your intentions are positive, hello, it's always positive. People sit there and they have judgments, and you can't change people's mind. They have to change it themselves. Okay, so you have another book coming. Let's get back to your book.
Oh, sure.
You have another book rolling around in there. Is
I
it
do.
along the same lines as?
No, it's actually not. It's going to be a vegetarian cookbook with the basics
Oh,
of vegetarian cooking. I've been vegetarian since I was 12, and I think a lot of people would like to cook more vegetarian food, but they don't always know how. And so
yeah.
I wanted to go over the basics, like like what are the different types of onions, and how long should you cook vegetables if you're steaming them versus boiling them, or and then just versatile recipes that you don't need 100 different ingredients for, but that you can adapt and just to make a quick 20-minute meal for yourself or maybe your family. And it's kind of the people the group I'm kind of targeting are people who have kind of just left home, maybe are off at college, and now they don't have someone to cook for them anymore. And so, because I know for me at least, that was the first time I really started cooking, and so just to go over the basics, and then I'm gonna have a lot of desserts because I'm a huge chocolate fan. So,
It's my addiction. I'm proud of it.
oh, me
I'm a,
too, me too.
I'm a chocoholic. Mm.
And I'm gonna still have Lucy in there, and Lucy's gonna have her little chef hat, and she's gonna be my little sous chef.
Oh, and it's going to be so cute. Gina says that she has a steamer for her veggies.
Oh yeah, that's really healthy and really good to use.
For me, veggies got to still have a little bit of a crunch to them.
A little bit of crunchy, yes.
Not like it's
Yeah,
like
so then like for you, roasting might be a better option, and that's also something that's not too hard to do. But then
it's a good thought. Like
yeah,
I'll make a stir fry and everything still has a little bit of crunch to it
uh-huh,
because I like my meat. Yes,
yeah,
crunch. It's tuna, but I do no. I think that it's good because especially like you said, you want to get to the people who are kind of like just going out to college, learning to cook themselves, so they're not always stuck on just eating ramen,
right,
soups.
right,
Whether it's cooked or uncooked, I think uncooked is rather disgusting, but
yeah. Yeah, and then and also the stuff that once you learn just like the basic skills, then you can adapt it to whatever you like, and and it's all just a really cooking is really just a matter of experimentation. So,
so you realize though once you have that book out, you're actually gonna have to make a cooking video.
oh yeah, I could do that. I could
Yeah,
do
make a
that.
little chef's hat for Lucy Bird, you know, Lucy Bear, sorry, and
Yes.
and that'll be interesting.
Yeah, Lucy loves it when I cook because she'll just stand right underneath, wait for me to drop some crumbs of cheese
Yeah,
or something.
whether it's on purpose or accidentally on purpose. Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's why my mother always used to say, you never have to sweep the floor for food when you have an animal,
Yeah.
because especially a dog, they clean up. It's like, hello, mom, let drop some crumbs. Very true. Well, we have, where is the pup? Where's the pupator? Where is Lucy?
She is actually at home. I'm actually at work right now, so I wish I could bring her to work, and I do take her a lot of
That would
places.
make life interesting.
Yes. But I had a little COVID restricted release party on Thursdays, just about 10 people, and they let me bring hers, so she was there with, and she had her little Santa costume, and so she was the guest of honor. But it was really funny. I don't know if you saw on my Facebook page, but I got someone captured this picture of her where she's looking at the salad and she has this really angry, disgusted look on her face because one of my friends is a vegan, so there was not even any cheese on her salad, and you could just see it running through her mind. To like, what's all these gross vegetables? Where's the good stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm now looking forward to your cookbook because I'm just imagining the comments that she's gonna say, oh my god, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, and one of her favorite things is spaghetti, so there'll be a lot of spaghetti
Oh,
recipes.
yes. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. She's gotta have a Lady in the Tramp moment. Spaghetti. There you go. Well, it is 6:02. I thank you very much, especially with you being at work. You took a little break to be with us, so thank you very much. Again, it's Preety Bird, PreetyByrd.com. Go check it out. Get her book. When I get the book, you know me, you know how I am, people. I'm gonna do a live Facebook opening. Just go, and I might read one or two things and get you all laughing. So thank you very much, and let me know when the vegetarian cookbook is out because I like vegetables. My husband's not crazy about them unless it's got meat involved in it. But
I bet there's stuff that we can find that he would like.
if not, I'll let him starve. I'll give him a hamburger and takeaway.
This was really fun.
It was. Thank you very much, everybody. I will see you next Sunday. And great hostess that I am, I have no idea who I have on right next week. We'll figure it out. I'll let y'all go. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week for another conversation with friends.